Welcome, everyone, to Translation Strategies in GIS Processes. I thought it would be interesting to combine my two majors here at BYU, Geospatial Science and Technology and Spanish. So let's jump right in. Geospatial Science and Technology is a bit of a mouthful, so I mostly just say I study GIS. GIS stands for Geographic Information Systems. This is a fancy way of saying I make maps. What makes these maps special is the many layers of data and information that group together to tell a story. GIS is used in virtually every industry in the world. Cartography, ecology, energy, city planning, infrastructure, road networks, GPS mapping, satellite imagery, and 1,000 other things. There are two main pillars in the world of GIS: computer programming and coding, and the GIS softwares themselves, which are often nicer, slightly more accessible interfaces that hide mountains of additional code. And just as a note, any code or map used in this presentation is something that I have either written, created, or worked on during my time at BYU. I'm going to show you a couple examples so we can get a scope on what I will be describing throughout the rest of the video. The first is a code I wrote to analyze the Google timeline data of people in my class to make several maps from the information, and here are some of those. It includes a heat map, a catalog of coordinates and timestamps, and don't pay too much attention to the map on the right, which is where I realized I accidentally doxed everyone in my class. The second is a map I made using the GIS software called ArcGIS Pro, where I combined 5 statewide data sets, including slope, vegetation type, and land ownership, to choose the best place to build a new nature resort, and this is the result of that combination. So, before we talk about the strategies, let's look into the underlying need for them. Since GIS is used in so many industries in every corner of the planet, and all coding and GIS softwares are primarily US based, there is a lot of translating that needs to happen. Due to the nature of the work, high precision is required at all times, and finding such precise words can be close to impossible. Spanish is spoken in over 20 countries, and with the huge variations in terminology that come with the geographic separation, a universal standard is very difficult to obtain, creating a need for a variety of translation solutions and strategies. Every single major coding language is in English. There exist some in other languages, but they are usually not compatible with anything else. Coding is all about functions and variables. You are basically writing an instruction manual for your computer. Functions are very specific words that give a command to the computer, and the variables are the data that is being manipulated or changed. Coding is incredibly precise. A single period, letter, or semicolon in the wrong place can ruin everything, so just typing the translated words is a no-go. Luckily, there exist methods to get around this. In the code itself, before writing the actual instruction manual, you can use the commands to rename your functions and variables so that going forward you can use your own translated version of them. Another way of getting around the necessary precision of coding is to add comment blocks. Basically, you put a pound symbol or hashtag at the beginning of a line, which tells the computer not to read that line when you execute a program. A translator can use this to their advantage by writing in a comment block just what the heck is going on in a certain area of the code. You can see here in this portion of code that the Spanish is grayed out and will not break the code upon execution. This is great for multilingual teams that need to collaborate between languages, as you can fully explain the operations without affecting the logic of the code itself. One more solution to this issue is a README file. These are glossaries that are sent over in a folder with the rest of the files needed for operation. You can open the README file, where it will have a list of terms and their translations right next to each other. This will save a lot of space from getting clogged if you want to avoid comment blocks. They are fully customizable, so a translator can include helpful explanations and notes. They also keep everyone on the same page if it is a collaborative project, which is incredibly helpful in an environment that doesn't have a lot of obvious translations. ArcGIS Pro is the largest and most popular GIS software available, and since it is produced by an American company, it requires translation into all other languages used. There are just about 2,000 unique tools available, and it can be very difficult to properly translate each of them. So there are many loan words used, like buffer, clip, toolbox, raster, and shapefile, that remain untranslated. These are highly specific terms that just don't have an equivalent in Spanish. So in order to work through this issue, Esri, the parent company of ArcGIS Pro, publishes a huge dictionary of terms and their descriptions. That way, the words retain their standard meaning and there won't be any confusion. They also publish full tutorials and help pages in Spanish, explaining the use of the loanwords in their proper context. ArcGIS Pro actually lets you create your own tools, provided you can code it all. While adding it to the software, you can write whatever you want in the tool description, including a translation of what the tool does. Unfortunately, they don't let you edit the pre-existing tools to add your own translations, but they do have foreign language add-ons that will put the software in a different language, but that's not translating now, is it? In a custom toolbox, everything can be edited to preference. Names, labels, categories, parameters, and even error messages, so someone working in Spanish can have a fully translated experience. Custom toolboxes have huge applications in the GIS world because, believe it or not, even with 2,000 tools, people find themselves needing more all the time, and using them for translation or international cooperation would certainly not be out of place, allowing for specific environments to be translated while the underlying software remains in English. In the end, GIS is a global industry, reaching into every country one way or another. This all-encompassing system requires a huge amount of international and interlingual collaboration. So much work between nationalities and languages necessitates many styles and strategies of translation. The methods we've talked about here are just a portion of what is available. Whether it's customizable toolbox or special additions to a code, translation in GIS helps to connect people around the globe and assists in making these processes available to everyone. Thank you.